Alright, let's talk about something that's been bubbling under the surface for a while now, Ready Player 2. Yeah, you heard that right. The sequel to Ready Player 1 is apparently in the works, and honestly, I've got mixed feelings about it. But before we dive into that, let's start with the hook. Why now? It's been 8 years since the first film dropped, and while Ready Player 1 was a hit, grossing over $600 million worldwide, it's not like the world has been clamoring for a sequel. So, what's the play here? Is this a genuine passion project, or just a cash grab? Personally, I think it's a bit of both, and that's what makes this so interesting. First off, let's address the elephant in the room, Steven Spielberg. The guy who directed the first film isn't coming back to direct the sequel, which, in my opinion, is a huge loss. Spielberg's touch elevated Ready Player 1 from a nostalgiafest to something with real heart. Sure, he's producing, but let's be real, producing and directing are two very different beasts. This raises a deeper question: can Ready Player 2 recapture the magic without Spielberg at the helm? I'm skeptical, but I'm also curious to see how a new director might interpret the material. Now, let's talk about the plot. According to the novel, Wade Watts discovers a new technological advancement hidden in Halliday's vaults, something that makes the OASIS even more immersive and addictive. On the surface, that sounds cool, right? But here's where I get a little wary. The first film was already a love letter to 80s pop culture, and while that worked, it also felt like a double-edged sword. If the sequel leans too heavily into nostalgia again, it risks feeling like a retread. What this really suggests is that the filmmakers need to strike a balance between honoring the past and pushing the story forward. Otherwise, it'll just feel like fan service. One thing that immediately stands out is the potential for the OASIS to become even more of a central character in the sequel. In the first film, it was this vast, vibrant world, but it still felt like a backdrop to Wade's journey. If the sequel truly makes the OASIS 1,000 times more wondrous, as the novel promises, that could be a game-changer. But here's the catch: how do you visually represent that on screen? CGI can only take you so far, and what many people don't realize is that the success of a film like this hinges just as much on storytelling as it does on special effects. Tye Sheridan, who played Wade, has expressed interest in returning, and honestly, I'm here for it. He brought a lot of heart to the role, and it's hard to imagine anyone else stepping into those shoes. But this brings up another point: how do you keep the story fresh with the same protagonist? Wade's arc in the first film felt pretty complete, so what's left to explore? Personally, I think the sequel needs to dig deeper into the characters, maybe even introduce new perspectives. Otherwise, it risks feeling like a victory lap rather than a genuine continuation. If you take a step back and think about it, the timing of this sequel is kind of fascinating. We are living in a world where virtual reality is becoming more mainstream, and the line between the digital and physical worlds is blurring. Ready Player 2 has the potential to tap into that cultural moment in a way the first film didn't. But it also runs the risk of feeling dated if it doesn't lean into those themes in a meaningful way. What makes this really interesting is how the film will reflect, or fail to reflect, the world we are living in right now. So, here's my closing thought: do we really need Ready Player 2? In my opinion, the first film worked because it felt like a love letter to a specific time and place. A sequel risks diluting that magic, but it also has the potential to expand the world in exciting ways. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also bracing for the possibility that this could be a missed opportunity. What do you think? Are you ready to return to the OASIS, or should this story have stayed in the past? Let me know in the comments below.